We the people here decree we've the right to life and liberty. We're all created equally in America, and we're going to live here happily in America. Our founding fathers crossed the seas and built the new world colonies. But King George wouldn't set them free, so they fought a revolution, the American Revolution.
Hi, my name's Diane. Thanks so much for joining us. You're currently watching the Just Kidding Around show. This week we will be working with Lori Davis, professional
cake decorator, baker.
Okay, professional baker. And if you recognize her, Lori was on our show about maybe 5 years ago.
I think it's about 5 years, Diane.
It's been a while, and she made this amazing Black Forest cake. So we really enjoyed that, and we invited her back. And you've brought a guest with you.
I brought my very fabulous Madeline. She's going to help us out today.
Great. It's been a while since we've had a kid on the show, so thank you for joining us, Madeline. And we start by looking in the camera and giving a shout out to somebody we'd like to maybe dedicate the show to. Madeline. And I'm going to say hi to the kids at South Bay and at Lydia Hawk. You want to say something, Madeline?
Hi, Mr. K.
Oh, Mr. K got your shout out.
Hi, Mr. K.
And hi to all the Davis boys that are patiently waiting for us to do our show.
Yeah, and to bring home the cake pops,
Absolutely.
right? So today we're learning how to make cake pops, which is something I had never heard of before
No, and they're
yesterday.
actually fairly new, and they've really been kind of taking off. You bake a cake, and you can use any box cake mix you want. And so you just bake just a quarter sheet cake. And once it's all cooled off and done, then you're going to use your food processor. And if you don't have food processor, you can dump it all in a bowl and just break it apart with your hands. But what you're looking to do is make this cake into complete crumbs.
All right.
So why don't we go ahead and do that?
Step one is get a cake.
And you can even use store-bought cupcakes if you don't, if you're not able to make a cake. You just take your cake and you're just going to break it up and you're going to put it in here.
But it should be fresh. It shouldn't be. Is this a good way to use an old stale cake?
You can use stale cake.
Maybe a dry cake or something that you've had that.
It might change a little bit of the texture of the recipe, but we're going to add frosting to this.
Okay.
So let's pulse this a little bit. See how it just real quick turns into crumbs. And this takes a lot longer if you don't have a food processor, but it can still be done. So Diane, if you want to put that bowl kind of closer to Madeline here.
I was afraid it would cover her head, but I'll just hold it like this. Oh, sorry, that wasn't
So
very
then we
nice.
will take our bowl off. And Madeline, you want to hold the spatula? What we're going to do is we're going to dump those crumbs in there.
Now, have you made this many times before?
I have made them several times before, and they're so much fun. And once you actually get started, we'll do a few more crumbs, and then we will show you the next step.
Okay. And you have a family of 4, so is this sort of a real treat for them?
Well,
Is it one of
they
their
have
favorites?
never even tried them either.
Oh.
And I originally saw them in a coffee shop.
Oh.
And I thought, well, those are neat. And then I started seeing them all over the internet and just different cookbooks. And I thought, I wonder what those are about. And in the craft store, and I started seeing all sorts of different things to where you could make them yourself. I thought, I have got to try these. And so I bought a few of the items, and I bought the book that showed you how, and I realized how easy they were to do.
An entire book on how to make these?
An entire book, and it's called, I think it's just called Cake Pops.
Wow.
And I bought it, and yeah, it should be enough.
So all the rage. I have never heard of these.
All right. So
Were your kids excited when Mom decided to start
Well, I
making
think they
these
weren't
things?
quite sure exactly what is that, And the thing that interested me the most was all the different ways you could decorate them. And so I'm just going to leave that there, and we will put the rest of this here.
So we're done with the cake. We didn't use the full cake. Is that normal to use half the
You can
cake?
only use as much cake as you want, and I think for our time that we have, this should be about enough. I don't know if we can see what the crumbs look like, but they're just complete crumbs See, kind of like breadcrumbs is the texture you're looking for. So then what you're going to do, and again, you can use boxed cake mix. You can use canned frosting. It doesn't really matter. You can use homemade cake. You can use homemade frosting. What you're going to want to do is, for every quarter sheet cake that you make, you're going to add about 3/4 of a pound of the buttercream. And if you use a dark cake like chocolate, you're going to want to use a dark.
So this is buttercream.
This is actual buttercream.
This isn't canned?
This is not canned.
This is homemade
This
frosting?
is homemade with
Oh,
actual
boy.
butter, and so since
Ooh.
I've done it several times before, I kind of know the right amount to put in.
Uh-huh.
But you always want to start with less rather than more. You
Okay.
can always add more cake, but you can't really
So we're
take
creating
away.
a dough? Is that
We're
what
kind
we're
of
doing?
creating something that's going to be a little more like a clay-like
A
texture.
clay
So you
out
take
of
your
icing and cake.
you take your buttercream, and I've had good luck slightly warming it up before I actually use it.
Okay.
And so you're just going to drop that in there, and then all we're going to do
I wonder
is
if a camera could see that if we pointed to a camera.
all we're going to do is mix that in.
Somebody's got it.
Let's see how we're doing there.
Our camera on.
Just until it starts to want to stick together. And if we need to add a little more buttercream, then that's what we'll do, just a little bit at a time. But do not use a mixer for this part,
Okay.
because that'll kind of mash it so much.
Lori, are we through with that processor?
We are. Do you want me to move
no,
that down?
I'm going to move it. Here,
Madeline,
you just
can
keep
scoot over
working.
just a little bit?
I'm going to get it out of the way in case the camera's. Oh.
Okay. And now the only way, Diane, to tell if this is ready is to touch it. And so we're just going to pick it up. And I'd say that that is just about right. You want to see how that feels? To where it holds together,
Oh.
but it's
okay.
not completely wet.
Yeah.
And if you can imagine making a little ball out of this, because that's what the next step is going to be.
Okay. Do you make these with your kids?
You know, we have yet to actually make them at home.
Oh.
I make them quite a bit at work now, but they are certainly enjoying sampling.
Oh, so you make it work.
Well,
with
I think
them.
I've created quite a monster also with my husband, as I bring them home sometimes and he's like, oh, the cake pops are here. So Dan, let's take that little cutting board there and we'll scoop some of these out on it.
So why is this going to taste a lot different than a cake with icing?
It's going to taste a little more moist.
Okay.
It's going to taste, it's exactly the same. It's cake and frosting, but it's just in a different vessel. It's a different way to
Okay,
eat it.
different format.
So you can buy this anywhere. It's a cookie dough scooper. And so what you're going to do is you're just going to take your dough scooper and you're just going to pull it and push it against the side until it's about perfectly level. And you're just going to pop it
Just
out.
like so.
Just like
And
that.
you never gave us a recipe for a buttercream frosting.
Oh, well, you know, we can, won't be actually exact depending on how big of an amount you want to make, but most of the buttercreams I make are butter, and like with the chocolate one, it's about 2.5 pounds of butter and about 2 pounds of bittersweet chocolate,
Ooh.
and of course there's eggs and sugar. Just mixes
Wow,
it all.
you do the
and
real
so
thing then.
it's-
No canned frosting for you?
In a pinch, I always have canned. I think the rule is you can get away with a box cake mix, but only if it has a real buttercream on it.
But you don't want to do both then, huh?
You never want to do both because it's a lot of just kind of artificial flavor.
Does it taste a lot different if you use
It
artificial
does,
flavor?
and I don't know if you notice the actual texture of this cake. It's a real fine texture. And if you use a box cake mix, it's a lot airier.
Airier, okay.
Does that make sense? A little spongier looking?
So this cake was home? It's scratch
This is a
too?
scratch cake
A scratch
mix.
cake and scratch frosting. Whew.
So we are having a treat.
What do you think about that, Madeline?
Good.
Do you cook at home?
No.
You don't cook at all?
Sometimes Madeline cooks.
Sometimes in the microwave.
Oh.
So why don't we start with these, and then we can make more as we need to. So then what you're going to do, ideally, after this step, you would put them in the refrigerator to cool.
Okay.
And that will stiffen the buttercream up a little bit in them. But since we're we're here and we're not with a fridge, you'll just take your little ball and you want to really lightly just roll it. Just roll it to kind of smooth it out a little bit. And if they're not cool, sometimes they want to just kind of roll apart a little bit. So that's why we brought
And the one's already done.
some extras. So why don't I
Presto.
get those out of the way?
So these have been rolled. Did you
These
roll
have
all
already been
these?
cooled, and those are all
Okay.
rolled, and they're ready to go.
So it took a little bit of time to do all that rolling. Probably half hour maybe?
I'd say about a half hour, and see, you can feel how cold these are still. I put them in the freezer before we came,
Oh,
so that way they're
freezer. Okay.
just. But you don't want them to be frozen when you dip them, because
Okay.
when cake thaws, it's going to want to expand just a little bit. It'll crack your chocolate, and then your cake pops won't be quite as beautiful.
Oh, we don't want cracked chocolate.
Okay, so our next step, I think, is going to be getting some chocolate.
And how do we do that?
Do we maybe have somebody in the audience that wants to go
Say
get
the audience.
that?
Okay, there's somebody. Oh, and he has melted chocolate with him.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Oh, that's perfect.
That's beautiful. And you can buy chocolate in craft stores
Oh, yeah,
and
you
different
can-
stores?
In different craft stores, they're the little wafers, and these
Okay.
actually come all in different colors, or you can add your own color to it.
Different brands and different colors? And
I would say
colors?
different brands. I think Wilton actually
Okay.
has the market on
There's only
colored
one brand?
chocolate.
Okay.
So let's dump some of this in here,
Look like little fish bowls.
and
I was wondering what those were for.
well, maybe we might have enough if we put some in here too.
So is this something that might be fun at a birthday
This would
party?
be
or-
amazing at a birthday party.
Okay.
Especially if
making-
you have everything all ready to go, or at least close to being ready
Mm-hmm.
to go.
Or a slumber party might be fun. Or
Can I get that back to you? There you go, thank you. A slumber party would be very fun. So now what I think we need, make sure we have all of our supplies. That's the real important thing to make sure this whole thing works. I like leaving the plastic on our styrofoam.
Okay.
That way when the chocolate drips down,
Oh, keeps it clean.
it's easier to clean.
Okay.
And you have to have these. So I'll keep one on your side, and Madeline, why don't you hand me one, and we'll put it on our side over here. Perfect. So you can get this at any craft store. Just make sure it's thick enough.
Okay,
So I
thick
think
enough.
this
What do you
is
mean by
a-
that?
I don't know, it's a couple inches thick, so that way when
Okay.
you put your cake stick, again, you have to get this at the craft store. And this is just a lollipop stick, and these are 6 inches long. And so, again, I've done this several times, so I've learned a lot of ways not to make mistakes.
Little tricks.
After you dip your pop, don't stand it straight up in here. Why do we think that we wouldn't do that?
Because it would drip?
Exactly, it's going to drip all down the stick, and then you're
Yeah.
going to get a messy stick.
Yeah.
So I've learned to dry them slightly at an angle, and then
How
we'll drip
smart is
down.
that?
We'll drip down on. We can use a little towel, maybe. We'll drip down on a little towel, and we won't make a big mess. So if we turn this like this, Diane, then if you
Ooh,
put that
that's
chocolate
warm.
on your side, and you can dip some.
Oh, that is almost hot. So that was, you melted that in the microwave?
Melt it in the microwave.
Okay, you don't need a
and
double
there's
boiler or
there's-
anything.
Well, you can. You can
Okay.
if you've got one available. Microwave tends to work pretty well, too. If you put that on your side.
Okay. Madeline, you're so talkative today.
Madeline, what do you think our next step is going to be here?
Dipping them.
Dipping them.
Good girl.
Make sure you have all your sprinkles, and you can put anything on these that you want. Go to the
how
bulk
fun.
section. That's where you find fun ideas, and there's so many ideas in the book of cake pops. You can even Google it, and it'll show you page after page.
Oh, so it's sort of like a donut. You could put like
You can put
peanuts on it.
You can put peanuts,
Oh.
marshmallows, make Rocky Road ones.
Oh.
You can, with different flavored cake, you
Mm-hmm.
can do strawberry ones. You can use cream cheese frosting. You'll have a strawberry cream cheese pop.
Oh, how beautiful
there's-
for a wedding.
You can use white ones with white sprinkles on for a wedding or brides. You can use all the chocolate, and you can dip them halfway and make little tuxedo grooms. There's so many different things that you can do. So let's have our sprinkles
That high
ready.
school graduation would be fun too.
We're working
little
on some of
party.
those.
Are you for high school in high school colors or something?
Oh yeah, definitely. You can get those little candies and that are square. oh, I forget what they're called, but the little chocolates, and they're just square. You can mold your own.
Oh,
and you can
my.
put that on top for a little graduation hat, and maybe use a little fruit snack that you cut or
how
something. There's just so
cute.
many ideas.
Okay.
So why don't we get some of our sprinkles, and you can see.
Oh, we're pouring them right on the towel.
Well, that way we can get to them.
Okay.
And woo!
And you can buy these things in bulk, huh?
Oh, you can buy so many different things in bulk. Go to the bulk store or the bulk section, and you can 3 Tootsie Rolls if you want. You know, and
Yeah.
that way you can cut them and roll them to make little dogs' ears.
Oh, how
or, You know, there's
cute.
so many different things. You just got to
I'll
be
make
kind of
little
creative.
puppies.
Okay, so then the next step here, while our chocolate is still soft, and this is an important step, you're going to take your stick, and Diane, let me give you a few too. Take your stick, and you're just going to dip that stick maybe about a ½ inch into your chocolate. Then you're going to take your ball, and I like to turn it over to the flat side.
I messed up. I'm going to let that one sit.
To
So
the
about
flat
half
side?
an inch.
Just about half an
Okay, so I
inch.
go the flat side.
Just, we're going to call this your glue.
Okay, my glue.
And then take your cake ball and only push it in less than halfway. And then you can stick it back on there.
And if I didn't do that, what would happen?
Well, I believe this glue actually helps keep your cake pop on the stick once it's all dry. But you don't want to push it in more than halfway, otherwise you'll crack the cake pop. Madeline, if you want to do a couple of them there.
Half a stick. So this is Madeline's first, too.
Yeah. So turn it over to the flat side. That way you have a pretty round top. And see, it just goes right. That's perfect. Make sure you get it in enough so that way it, there. And then you set that back down. And then again, ideally after you finish doing this part of the step, let me give you some sticks, honey.
Yeah.
After you finish doing this part of the step, then you would put this back in the refrigerator again, just to firm everything up just a little bit. But these are still pretty cool, so I think we're going to be
You
safe.
say ideally, but we don't have an ideal situation, so we're not going to dip these.
We're not going to put them
We're not
back in
gonna
the
chill 'em again?
refrigerator. Exactly.
And how long would you chill these the second time?
Usually what I do is I put them back in the refrigerator, and then that's when I start getting my chocolates ready. That's okay. I can tip over. So 15 minutes maybe at the most. They don't have to stay long, just long enough. Okay, that's probably good enough to start with.
And you said on the flat side, that's what we're...
Yes. Okay.
Because they're sitting on the round side.
Right, we want
Are
to
we gonna
sit
do
on the
all
round
these
side.
right
We
now?
don't need to do them all. I think that's enough.
Okay.
So now where we can go from here is let's dip them. So you're going to take your pop, and you're just going to dunk it, completely covering, and get that chocolate just on the base. And then you're going to hold it, just 1 minute, Madeline. You're going to hold it over for just a couple of minutes, or seconds actually.
And this is actually going to be like a hard shell we're putting on it?
It's not going to be hard, like crunchy, crispy.
Okay.
It's going to stay soft, but it'll be firm to the touch.
Okay.
So that way you'll be able to decorate it. So let me take this out here. Now the tricky part is usually I'm gonna probably take yours, Diane.
Okay.
Because you have to put 2 on, otherwise it'll tip over. So
This,
give me
I
your
see.
pop.
Mine's still dripping.
That's perfect. So we're just gonna take
keep
it.
it
And
balanced.
this is a messy project sometimes, just for the first little bit here. And we'll let those just drip. And then just before they get dry, we'll put sprinkles on them. Because if you put the sprinkles on too soon, they'll just slide off, or they'll get completely covered
that's
in.
a lot of little tricky things to know about this.
Get it on the bottom.
There you go.
And you get actual orders for these at work? People call
yeah,
in?
they're really starting to pick up. People call in, they want bouquets, office appreciation, put it on your reception's desk. A lot of brides are now starting to like this idea,
This is
especially for birthday parties.
but this takes more time for a baker to do than a, oops.
You can use your,
Oh, I can start now?
yeah. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick one of these up, and we're going to give it some sprinkles here.
Oh, how adorable. So,
You can go really light on the sprinkles if you want. You can go a little heavier. And
So-
there's just so many different ideas that you can
do
do.
you think this is more work than just making a cake and
Oh,
icing
it is.
Yeah.
It is. But it's so unique, and it's good for portion size too.
Oh,
If you want to watch your portion
yes.
size, then look, you've got a perfectly portioned little piece of cake here.
I'm getting a little bit of icing on the
Or
on
you
the
can leave them, you
tablecloth.
can leave them on and you can just sprinkle from
Okay.
here too. Isn't that fun? And then pretty soon they'll dry, and they dry actually very quickly.
And did you think this up putting them at an angle? Or did you read that too?
I didn't read that. In the book it just said to hold it over your dish, but when you're trying to do it in a production manner, you can't really stand there
No.
for 3 minutes each cake pop. So I just thought, well, you know what? I was trying to figure out how can I dry them upside down so they won't drip on the sticks. And I think that my husband actually said, ooh, how about this idea? Tip them to the side a little bit.
He must be an engineer or something,
or something.
Or something. He was pretty smart. He helped us fix this table today too.
We
so.
can do some just in all white.
So now,
I've
if somebody
done
were
some-
going to make a bouquet of cake pops, about how many would there be in the bouquet?
Usually about a dozen.
About a dozen. And how would they form that?
A
Would
lot
they-
of
out
them
these?
that I've been seeing now they're putting them in flower pots, and then you just put a little styrofoam or something in the bottom of the flower pot, and maybe tie some pretty green bows, or you can actually even buy the little leaves at the craft store, and you can just put little leaves around, and you could decorate them like
my.
flowers. There's so many things you can do. I think it's a lot of fun, anyways. Maybe I get a little bit too excited about it, but.
No, I
Let's
think
see,
this
which
is
one do we
amazing.
need?
I had no idea such a thing
White
existed.
ones, and some like that. I didn't get any chocolate.
You're not going to believe this. We only have 5 more minutes.
Have we used up all that time already?
Yes, we have.
See how fun this is.
I
Once
know
you
it
actually
is.
get going, again, I think these would be perfect for a birthday party. With little kids, you don't have to worry about cutting cake. You don't need plates or napkins. It's just you've got your cake ready to go.
So in the summer, even
Definitely.
after barbecue, you could have a plate of them or something.
Well, and then you can buy things like
For
these
outdoor
little
birthday
foil
party.
tops or these little small bags, and you can then individually wrap them with a little bow tie on them.
Oh, you're right. Then you wouldn't
Then
need,
you don't need anything.
plates or anything. Except I bet I could polish off about 4 of these.
They're,
do
ask
you
my
think?
husband, they are very easy to eat.
Oh, okay. So he can do more than 4?
Well, it's like eating a donut hole. That's about the size
They
these are.
remind me, I guess because of... Yeah. Am I putting too much on mine?
You can put as much as you want on it.
Oh, I'm putting all 3 on this
you can use
one.
nuts. You know, you
This
can
is my
use
deluxe one.
Madeline, you want to try that?
Ooh, that's a pretty one.
See, look at the inside.
How yummy. You got your cake, your frosting, and your embellishment.
How is it, Madeline? Perfect.
Have you ever made a chocolate one with chocolate icing and peanuts, rolled peanuts?
I was thinking of mixing peanut butter in with the frosting
Yeah.
and making a peanut butter flavored ones.
Well, that might. So these come in a lot of different flavors then
You can
too.
make whatever you want.
My favorite donut is chocolate iced with peanuts. Crumbled peanuts. So I'm really proud of mine. Normally, I'm not much of a
I like
cook.
the super deluxe one, actually.
Yeah, normally I'm not good at things like this, but I like mine. I do. Can you reach that, honey?
Like I said, I think this would be a great project for kids to do. Roll out the balls, get it ready for them to go.
And each
you've
one
got
looks
a big
different.
each one is different.
No 2 are alike.
Look at Madeline just made that one.
Oh, that's a beauty. That's a beauty. She's probably going to eat it too, huh? Do all sprinkles taste the same?
I think they're all just sugar.
It's just a different color.
I think a different texture. The little
Just all
nonpareils,
sugar.
they're a little crunchier, and the jimmies are a little softer.
Oh, they have names?
Oh yeah, I don't have them on here,
Sprinkles have names?
but
What's
these are
the
jimmies.
Jimmy?
The jimmies are the long ones.
No way.
Yeah, and
I
the
didn't have-
nonpareils, those are the little tiny balls.
Only a baker would know that. But you taught me that word, one of your chocolate cakes.
Oh, the ganache.
Ganache.
Yeah,
didn't know
I
that
remember
word.
that.
Yeah.
We made that ganache cake. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Well, you're going to have one in each hand. Are you going to save some for your brothers? Yeah. Well, we're going to be wrapping up here soon.
Okay.
It
I think
just
we've got some more
doesn't
to do
seem
as soon as we're
possible.
done. Yeah, I know.
As soon as we wrap up, these are going to be gone. But
Fair enough.
So I want to thank you, Lori, for
was fun.
coming. I
Thank
know
you.
you're a very busy lady with job and 4 kids and lots of sports. And I want to thank you for making the time to be on our show. And
Well, you are welcome anytime.
Yeah.
Come back.
yeah, we might even see you on YouTube. Can we put this on YouTube?
I think that'd be great. A
All
lot of
right.
people would like to see how to do them.
We might upload it. And thank you, Madeline. I'll see you next week. Oh, maybe not. Are you coming to the library next week? I think you got PE next week. We'll see. Okay. Thanks so much to Mr. Amos, who just got out. John Amos just got out of the hospital, and he came to do camera on us. Hey, wake up over there, John. No, not really. He's doing good. Thanks so much, Jerry Julian. He just got back from Cabo to do this show.
That's right. You were
Yeah.
in Cabo.
And Jim Elder, who gave up a really cool event that he was going to go to. So thanks for an amazing crew. Thanks to Tom Dubuque, who's in the control room.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Tom. We're going to give you one of these,
Definitely.
but not this one. Okay, thanks. Thanks to our audience. What a swell audience. Yay for the audience. Bye. Tune in again for the Just Kidding Around show.
Those are very cool, Madeline.
We the people here decree we've the right to life and liberty. We're all created equally in America, and we're going to live here happily in America. Our founding fathers crossed the seas and built the new world colonies. But King George wouldn't set them free, so they fought a revolution, the American Revolution. Oh, we the people here decree we've the right to life and liberty. We're all created equally in America, and we're going to live here happily in America. The English army came in boats. It was buckskin versus bright red coats. Then the Yankees won the war and wrote our country's constitution, the United States Constitution. Oh, we the people here decree we've the right to life and liberty. We're all created equally in America, and we're going to live here happily in America. Through the passing years, the pioneers crossed the frontier without rest. Oh, the land was new when this country grew from the east coast to the west.